Oh, we are so back. It's not even funny. Okay? How are you guys doing? Welcome to Adam's Chase Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks to people who have subscribed and commented in the last few days. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the sentiment. I think you guys truly say some wonderful things in the comments, and I always get a little, sure, it's not that many, but the comments that I do get are very nice for the most part. So I appreciate y'all, and keep commenting. Even if there are bad ones, even if there are bad takes, it's a safe treehouse here at the Adam Chase podcast. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're gonna get into some business, okay, and one of this for anybody who has been watching the pod and seen that I covered the Rust trial, would know that this whole Alec Baldwin thing is quite a fucking mess, and the brief, I guess I could give a brief synopsis, right? The brief synopsis is that on October 21st, 2021, there was a film, a Western film, being filmed in New Mexico. Yeah, New Mexico. And the cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins, and the director, Joel Souza, were making a Western film with Alec Baldwin. And on October 21st, 2021, there was a rehearsal that Alec Baldwin and Halyna and Joel were all part of, along with a few other crew members, of course, in this isolated location in a church at this set. And what had happened was, during this rehearsal, they had a cold gun on a set, which, for those of you who don't know, cold gun means that the gun's inoperable. It can't be fired. There's nothing in it. So there's no projectiles or even blanks in that gun. Hence, it's a cold gun. Now, if there are blanks, there are dummy rounds, there are anything in it, then it's a hot gun, right? It's an active gun. It's, it is not to be played with, right? So what had happened was that Alec Baldwin used a prop gun that was officially called a cold gun by the first assistant director, which is usually the case, handed by the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez, handed off the gun to the first AD, and then handed it off, or called cold gun, handed it off to Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin then pulled back the hammer and shot, and a projectile that came from the bullet, or that came from the gun, I should say, fired off and struck both Halyna and Joel Souza. And Joel Souza was damn near fatally injured, while the cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins, a Ukrainian cinematographer who is very talented, has a whole filmography and growing, or were growing, unfortunately passed away. And in this entire case, there has been so many evidences, so many witnesses, so much of this trial. This trial was first with Hannah Gutierrez back in February, I want to say, of this year. I think it was February. And Alec Baldwin's trial was back in July, I believe. And the question was that how did live rounds get on to the film set, which, by the way, is still unanswered. It's still not been debunked. It is not been at all. Ooh, actually, hold on. I gotta do some set dressing. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just wanted to adjust some pretty some incredible set decking from yours truly. You know what I mean? By maneuvering a tree closer so that you don't see my mini refrigerator. Okay? So, anyways. Yeah, so the incident happened, and the whole there was this question of like, how did live rounds get on set? That's like literally the whole thing. And shout out to Emily D. Baker, who has covered the entire trial, and she is an ex-lawyer, I think, a former attorney. I know she was a former attorney, who broke down this entire case, like from beginning to end. Fantastic. I highly recommend looking at Emily Baker's coverage on it. You know, for all of like the you know all the legal like details that came with that trial, and I'm just too much of an idiot to really break that down. I only know surface level knowledge. Okay, so this trial has been around for a while. I mean, the incident happened in 2021. The trials have happened this year between Hannah, the armor, and Alec Baldwin. As you many of know, the actor, right, who essentially pulled the trigger, right, and recently, oh man, this is just really upsetting. You know what, we're gonna go. I gotta show y'all this, because I saw this this morning. Or no, it was last night actually. It was last night right before I went to bed, and I saw a little bit of it, and I was so angry about it. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I don't even want to get into this. So this was released by The Hollywood Reporter, and to give a little bit of context, Alec Baldwin was at the Turin Film Festival, which is a Italian film festival, I think, that debuted Rust, which I don't know about y'all, but I feel like that's pretty. I gotta talk for a second. That's pretty fucking wild, right? To even have this film be premiered in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of people have this discussion, and a few people, even in my circle of film peeps, had many discussions about this. And part of it was that in my opinion, this film should never have seen the light of day. It shouldn't have seen the light of day. I know that a lot of people worked hard on it. However, the matter of the fact is that this film is cursed because the only thing that people are going to connect this film to is this incident. That's it, you know? And sure, you can say that like, oh, well, it makes the, you know, history that much more real, I guess, or people need to see how historical this is. It's the same idea. It's the same sort of regressive approach when it comes to The Crow, and I don't mind The Crow at all. I think the movie The Crow is fine, but it forever lives in infamy as the film that, you know, tragically took Brendan Lee. And I just did I feel like that film should have been released then? I don't know. Not really, because this movie, at least for Rust, is, with how much coverage there has on trials and the case and evidence and the FBI even like debunking shit that Alec Baldwin has said in a George Stephanopoulos interview, which was insane. We saw a little bit of that on a previous Adamus Chase pod. And the Stephanopoulos interview was insane because Alec Baldwin recounted all the things that had happened, that had transpired. And he said that he pulled the hammer back, but didn't pull the trigger. Now, the gun that is in question is a prop gun that was made in Italy. Okay, it is and it was handcrafted, and it's a replica of a revolver. Yada yada yada. Okay, so there were FBI who tested the gun and said and concluded that there's no physical way that this gun cannot be fired without pulling the trigger. Like none. They did drop tests, they did hammer tests, they tested it in so many ways that could at least give benefit of the doubt to what Baldwin was saying. Now, the problem is that there are none. And not just the FBI, but an independent investigator who was part of the trial, who even said that it is fucking impossible that this could have gone haywire by just pulling the hammer back and never firing the trigger. Come on, that's bullshit. And even the manufacturer, Pieta, the Italian company, and the dude who crafted the gun, Alec Baldwin's gun, was there on this trial in July, went on the witness stand and said that it is literally impossible to pull the trigger. Now, what was the result of this case, you might ask, right? Well, clearly, Alec Baldwin is held to blame. I mean, Hannah Gutierrez was sentenced to prison, for, I think, less than 2 years. I'm pretty sure. And by the way, in my opinion, I didn't think she needed to be in jail, much less she didn't need to be remanded, which is like, for those of you, I learned this back in February. Remanding a person who is on trial basically means that they are carried out in handcuffs and delivered straight to the fucking jail. Like, just straight up to the jail. And usually, when people are remanded, it is like for fucking, like, killers, rapists, molesters, all sorts of, like, egregiously horrible, horrifying people that, yes, should be remanded. Hannah, on the other hand, the armorer, didn't need to be remanded. She didn't need to be sentenced to jail, but she didn't even need to be remanded. So she was dragged out like a fucking dog, and she was put to jail. Now, I'm not defending Hannah for, the things that she has done. What she has done is horribly wrong. Like, it is wrong on so many cases, on so many levels, but the greater share of the blame does not fall onto Hannah's lap. It falls on so many people's laps. It fell on Alec Baldwin's lap because he is a producer. Granted, he says he's a producer for the actors, which, okay, but you are part of safety meetings. You are aware of, people who are hired, like you have your hands on a lot of things. Despite the fact that, like, sure, you are a producer for specifically actors, that doesn't really mean that you are then out of touch with the whole production in general. That's just a silly concept, right? So, for Alec, this fucking guy, he went on trial, okay? And this whole entire time, I was thinking, there's no way this dude will not be in jail. Including, but not limited to, all the evidence that has been stacked up against him, and also the fact of, like, this witness, this manufacturer who went on the stand, who made the fucking gun, literally said, there's no way that the gun cannot be fired without pulling the trigger. So, with all that being said, the state prosecutor failed to include crucial evidence that could have really helped this entire case, but she felt that it was unnecessary, and it was delivered a little too late after the decision was made for Hannah to go to jail, essentially. And by the way, this was the jury's decision. I'm not the guy who's gonna say that, oh, the jury is fucking stupid or wrong or whatever. They did what the evidence was provided to them, and they made their decision. You know, so it is what it is. The matter of fact that the state prosecutor, Carrie Morrissey, okay, I know these names, Carrie Morrissey, failed to provide crucial evidence to this case. Well, I don't even know if it's like crucial as much as it's like it is important to have everything all together at once. So it was then left up to the defense attorneys to essentially, point this out and say this is messed up. And the judge then said, "Oh fuck yeah, this is messed up." And the fact that you, the prosecutor, did not include this and royally fucked your job up by a huge margin, got Alec Baldwin acquitted, dismissed the case with prejudice. So that means that this trial can never be tried again. Despite the fact that Carrie, there was an article that said that, Carrie, you know what? Let's just get into it. Actually, Carrie, let's see, while this may be another Hail Mary by Morrissey after repeated rebuffs by Judge Mary Marlowe Summer, who acquitted Alec Baldwin, since dismissing the involuntary manslaughter case against the actor just a few days into his trial because of evidence suppression. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? And I saw this live on trial, and I was screaming. I had it on my iPad, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs. This was insane. So it also once again fined Baldwin under judicial sword of Damocles. Okay, sure. All right, deadline. Relax. Yada yada yada. Yeah, I mean that's about it. I mean, so essentially, like, Carrie wants to try and get this back in some way, shape, or form, which is just only going to make matters worse for her and her state prosecutorial. I don't know. Popular. I don't know. I don't know if she's that popular. I mean, the fact that this has been televised, like everyone has been, every single lawyer gets like some sort of limelight. And she has gotten the most negative limelight, and rightfully so, because Alec Baldwin was, in fact, 100% was going to go to jail. Like, there was no way that he wasn't gonna. There was no way. With everything that has happened, and because this shit fucking happened, and because the prosecutor was, like, just so annoying to the judge, and it did not cover all of her bases at all, she then lost the fucking trial. And Alec Baldwin is free. He is absolutely free. And there's nothing anybody can do about that. Now, he went on and he went to this film festival as like this, like, as like I guess a press tour. But like, that's the other part too, right? Is that he went to this film festival under the condition that he was never going to be asked about the case. So remember that. He doesn't want to be asked about the case. He doesn't want to be asked about anything related in regards to the shooting, right? So this is what he had to fucking say. And we're not gonna watch the video. It's just it's loud, it's obnoxious. So I'm just gonna read the transcript here. Okay, so Alec Baldwin thinks Americans are uninformed about what really is going on in the world, and says that the film industry is helping to plug the gap. Which, I mean, Wow. Considering how much he has suppressed the fucking the coverage on this in saying that, oh, I will talk about this, but I don't want any questions about the case. And this dude literally says, there's a hole, a vacuum, a gap in information for Americans, the actor said at the Turin Film Festival on Monday. Americans are very uninformed about reality. What's really going on? Climate change, Ukraine. you fucking bastard. You name it. The biggest topics in the world. Americans have an appetite for a little bit of information. That vacuum is filled by the film industry. Not just the independent film industry, not just the documentary film industry, but narrative films as well. So he's essentially saying that, media is just really bad. The news is just really bad. Like he has gone full tilt, like right-wing conspiratorial fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? And saying that, like, oh, you cannot trust the news. Anything that comes out of the film industry is always just going to be political, and people are always going to be on your fucking bad side, which is like completely fucking bullshit. Like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to say that the Hollywood Reporter is the most reputable fucking, publication next to Daily Mail, who also covered this as well, or fucking Deadline. It's just these publications are not like the greatest, right? So, like the fact of the matter is that to get this, to get this way about a trial that you have been singled out specifically, and rightfully so, is just not gonna happen with Alec Baldwin. Oh, and just to add salt to the wound, he is doing a reality show about him and his family, which I think he has like 7 kids or some shit like that. Good on him. But like, he's going to do a fucking reality show. He's going to do a reality show. Or he has been doing a reality show. And this is the shit that drives me fucking nuts. This is honestly the shit that just fucking grinds my goddamn gears. And the reason for that is because the amount of coverage that has come out of this is never going to be in the benefit of celebrating who Halyna Hutchins was. By the way, who is a Ukrainian filmmaker. So the fact that he even brought up the topic of Ukraine as like, there's a lot of misinformation about Ukraine. There's so much misinformation. It's like he is an old Hollywood head, so like I assume that like the guy reads like the Los Angeles Times and shit like that, like he reads like fucking newspapers and whatever the fuck, he's just like, or like an MSNBC Andy or CNN Andy, I don't know. It's just like it's some of these things that just really makes the film industry look really fucking bad, and all Alec Baldwin has done is just make it look even worse than what it is. You know what I mean? Because like, this is, in my opinion, Alec Baldwin should never step foot on a film set along with Hannah Gutierrez, who is the armorer, the prop master working in an art department, who also mishandled the guns by like really bad standards, and the supplier, the prop house, whose name's Seth Kinney, who again, none of those people are in jail except for Hannah, the armorer. No one is in jail. The first AD got a plea deal. The prop master was never under the gun of anything, despite the fact that she had a discharge, or sorry, a misfire, I think, on a shoot that just like fired without giving any warning or anything. So anybody who was within like proximity of that set could hear that fucking gunshot, and it's loud. It's a revolver. It's loud. So, again, the the sheer fact. Oh, and Seth Kinney, who was a prop house dude. That evidence that was crucial, that was suppressing evidence, that was supposed to be for the Hannah Gutierrez trial, never made it to the Alec Baldwin trial because the dude who Seth Kinney, who he worked with, or I guess worked for at some point, I think he worked with him, had bullets of that same caliber that also had live rounds in it as well. So this dude had a box of live rounds that matched the rounds that were on the live rounds that were on that shoot. Delivered not that same box, but a box of the similar type, and delivered it to the cops and said that this is probably information that y'all will probably need. And they took it and never put it into evidence. They never logged it. They logged it as a separate thing, like as a separate case, which is so fucking frustrating. It is absolutely frustrating because I guess from a lawyer perspective, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a big city lawyer, but I guess it would just look bad on Carrie knowing that this evidence happened, even though the decision was already made. So it wouldn't have mattered anyways, but it would have been pertinent for Baldwin's trial. Absolutely. Right. But again, it would just make her fucking look bad. But that's the point, is that you need to argue the evidence, and you need to argue it in a way that makes it so that Alec, so much of this falls back onto Alec all the time, the entire time. And the fact that even the case throughout, the fact that, you cannot mention that he's a producer. They cannot utilize that argument that, he's a producer. They just completely threw it out, which they might have felt that it was obsolete. I disagree. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that Alec fucking got away with it. He got away with it. And just the other week, he was on Saturday Night Live doing an RFK impression. And shame on SNL, shame on anybody who wants to bring Alec Baldwin at all back into the limelight. I'm sure a lot of people like Alec Baldwin. I enjoyed his movies, whatever, it's just, he is a person who just wants to essentially not take the responsibility, but completely dismiss it and distance himself from it, saying that, this wasn't my fault, I didn't do this, the gun fired by itself magically from a ghost or whatever the fuck. I mean, he didn't say that, but it's just how the fuck do you mess this up? There's no reason for this at all. So that's all I wanted to say about Alec Baldwin. Fuck him. Fuck Alec Baldwin. I'm just going to say it. Fuck it. I mean, I know he is a legendary actor, yada, yada, yada. He's been in the film industry longer than my life, whatever. I don't give a fuck. You did something bad. You need to be held responsible for it. You need to be held responsible for it. By all in any stretch of the imagination. Okay? Because the whole thing was already a shot job from the beginning of production of Rust all the way to the fucking incident that happened. And they even did reshoots. They went back and finished the fucking movie. I don't know about reshoots, but they finished the fucking movie. They finished it after the incident. Granted, I think it was a year later or something like that, but they finished the movie. How do you wrap your head around that? Because there's no other reason to see this and go, yeah, no, I mean, fuck this guy. This guy should be in jail. The guy should absolutely be in jail. If the armor is in jail, yeah. You know what I mean? But more importantly, I don't even care about jail as much as like he should never be in the limelight and he should never step foot on a film set ever. Ever. All these people, all the people that I named, the first AD, Dave Halls, the first AD is Dave Halls, the prop master, Sarah Zachary, the props supplier, Seth Kinney, and Hannah, and did I mention Alec? I don't know. But all those people, sure, maybe not completely deserve to just be thrown in jail for years, but they should never step foot on a film set ever. Their film careers are over. And for the most part, all of them are, except for Alec. Even Hannah, she doesn't want to, she's not going to step foot on a film set ever. Like, her career's over, okay? Same with Sarah, but I don't even think the prop master really was interested in pursuing a whole career. Whatever. I went on a whole tangent about her on a previous episode. Definitely go watch it. But yeah, everyone else, like, they should never step foot on a film set or be recruited or be hired or even be a guest on a shoot ever. Ever. Plain and simple. It's the end of their careers, okay? And I know that's harsh. I know that's you know, whatever. When you see the trial and you see the perspective that I have with everything going on, this is an outrage, okay? And this even rippled through the film industry as a whole. Like, so many actors, so many directors, so many filmmakers all came forward and made like a promise or a vow of like not having real guns on a film set, which is like kind of like an overcompensation. And I feel like that's silly, but like I've never really agreed with having real weapons on a ship. The point is that when you have this incident that has rippled across the film industry, the changes need to be made. So the fact that Alec Baldwin would even mention that, like, oh, there's a lot of misinformation on the news, and you know, people in their consumption of news is a result of why Hollywood is corrupt, or this is why uninformed Americans they need to they need to understand this shit. It's like, yeah, man, we do understand it. A lot of people do. It's just people your age or anyone older just would probably not even care to consider any of this shit, right? So it doesn't matter, but at the same time, it's so infuriating for him to even speak on the news cycle post-election when you literally had this trial and you literally told the film festival to not talk about this. You are the problem. You are the fucking problem. I was fuming this morning. Fuming. Because this is such an easy thing to prevent. There's been real guns on film sets, real guns that I've worked with on film sets. I've never seen any misfire. I've seen one. I've told this story on another podcast with my good friend, like great friend and mentor, Christine Chen. GetRealisms.com. Check it out. And I discussed that. I talked about that with this whole trial, that Alec Baldwin and the misuse of this gun is a clear indication that mistakes 100% can happen. And the more that you cut corners, which this production did, the more you cut corners, the margin of error becomes wider and wider and wider. Okay. So once you start doing that, your set is set up to fail. And that is not the way to make film. I believe that guns should never be on a film set because the visual effects of like having a gunfire or even having like a, you know, an airsoft gun or like a air gun that still has the kickback, you know, that kind of shows like it's like the real thing, whatever the fuck. You can do that. You can add effects to guns for like, you know, you can have like gun effect assets on Adobe Premiere Pro for nothing. You know, you could probably find it on the internet and you can just fucking just use that. So it's silly to have any guns on a film set, period. End of story. Now, does that prevent filmmakers from having real guns because they feel that, you know, guns look way cooler, you know, visually? You know, whatever. Fine. That's to each their own. But there is a specific way of going about this that you can minimize any safety concerns, any of that, and make this set feel safe so that anybody who are around guns or using guns, like any actors using the guns, that isn't used by, you know, props or armor. Well, I mean, props have no reason to touch guns, but armor specifically, unless like the props person does have gun experience or has a gun license, whatever, all goes back to the armor, if not the actors. So there's a whole safety line with all this. And this was covered in the trial, but this definitely goes without saying that if you are an actor who has been in the industry for so long, okay, you would imagine that the safety, and Alec Baldwin has mentioned this, he is a gun expert. He has worked with guns for so long that he knows how guns should work and how dangerous they are and how safety is important and yada, yada, yada. So you would imagine that this dude will take the extra length to ensure that as a producer, everyone is going to be safe. Everyone listens to the safety meetings. He just didn't give a fuck. He just straight up didn't care. And this was a result of that. Of a decorated and honored and celebrated filmmaker, cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins, passed away. And that's it. You know? Like, those people, it has shaken so many people, even in the crew, from even working. You know? I don't know. It's just, it's so mind-boggling, and I you know, I don't blame anybody who is still an Alec Baldwin fan. Like, I don't care if you still like his shit, you still like him. You know, he's charming, he's funny, whatever the fuck, whatever. You know, I don't care, but I will not stop pointing out that this dude literally, fundamentally costed that entire set completely. Does the entire onus falls on him? I would say a huge chunk of that does fall on him. Absolutely. Probably the biggest chunk of that falls back on him. If anything. Also falls on the production, sure. Yes, I agree. But that's the result of cutting corners, ladies and gentlemen. And you do not want to cut corners, especially when you're making a Western, especially when you have more than one gun playing at the same time, which there were like dozens of guns that people used, that actors used. So what is it? You know what I mean? Like, is Alec not should not be charged because it's unfair, or you know, we should pin the blame on everyone else except for Alec Baldwin, which sure, but like, again, it falls back on both him and the production, who should have vetted this process entirely. But it was like a shotgun approach to all of this, where it's just, it's just going to be go, 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 and let's just make the thing and who cares, Like, I've worked on shoots where, like, any compromise of safety is immediately shut down, no matter what. And, like, I've seen some frustrated directors who, like, wants to, like, make a decision, and then, like, you would see, like, a stunt coordinator or, like, a producer or first AD would just be like, no, we can't do that, Not with guns, but, like, with certain stunts and, like, certain, things that couldn't compromise an actor's safety or a crew's safety, It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. We're just making pretend. We're not trying to fucking cure cancer. We're just here to have a good time, play pretend, and make fucking movies. And that's why we're here, because we love this shit. It's like a summer camp, at least for me, when it comes to working on any film shoots. You know what I mean? So it's important. Film is very, very important to a lot of fucking people. So imagine being on this shoot and this incident happens. Yeah, I think I would be shaken up too. Possibly shaken up to the point where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to step foot on a shoot. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. With the misfires that happened prior, there's 2 misfires that happened. All right, I think 3. I know there's 2, but there could have been 3. But it doesn't matter. 1 misfire, 2 misfires, 3 misfires, 5 misfires, it doesn't matter. You're compromising the safety of your crew and your cast, your talent. You don't want to do that. I know that's not the intent for this set, but I mean, come the fuck on. So anyways, that's basically it with Alec Baldwin. So fuck Alec Baldwin. Fuck what he has to say. I don't give a shit. The guy is a fucking piece of shit. And he was like, the luck just fucking shined upon him on that trial. The day that he was acquitted, it was insane. Like, I felt like I was looking at a moment of history of just like the legal system just fundamentally fucking failed everyone. It's wild. So, with that being said, I was going to talk about so I've been watching Arcane. I've gotten down 5 episodes, I want to say. Yeah, I got into 5 episodes of season 2 of Arcane, and it's bumping, dude. It's bumping. It's great. I'm loving it so far. I'd like to see where it goes. But more importantly, in the midst of, me working and all that, sometimes I just like to play other things that isn't just podcasts. Like, sometimes I'll play movies in the background. And for whatever reason, I thought, I want to watch the Paranormal Activity series again. I don't know why. And I played the first 2 movies, like, in the background while I'm cleaning, while I'm doing laundry and shit like that. Like, I know that's weird, whatever. There's something wrong with me, sure. But, like, I have been watching the Paranormal series, and I got to tell you something. These films, I had no idea were a through-line story, like, at all. Like, I thought the first 2 films were just the standalone films, and that was it. It was just like, it began and ended with, it began with the first, ended with the second, and we moved on. Had no idea the third one was, I knew it taken place in the 80s, but I had no idea that it still revolved around the main characters of the first 2 films. Now, I haven't finished the series yet, And I think I want to finish the series before I start talking like at length about it. But I think I will, considering how much time I have, and I don't have a ton, but like I think I will just do that. I'm gonna finish Arcane, and I'm gonna finish the Paranormal Activity series because it is fucking interesting, dude. I've been digging it. You know, it's like watching the Saw movies all over again. You know, it's a ton of fucking fun, you know? So, what do you guys think? Have y'all been keeping up with the Rush trial? Have y'all been watching Paranormal? Actually, you know what? I don't know how many films there are, but I know there was a couple more. Let's see. Paranormal Activity. Okay, series. Oh, good God. So, oh, Jesus Christ. So there's 4, and then there's Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, and then the Ghost Dimension, and Next of Kin? There's 4 more fucking movies. God damn. Oh my God. That's a lot. Okay, maybe maybe I'm going to review, because I plan on watching more, so I think I'm going to watch the 4th. And then I'm going to review it maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But yeah. This is a fantastic series. Few good jump scares. You know, I don't know what it was. I think like with Paranormal Activity, like I just kind of likened it to like all the other like found footage shit, where I was just like, okay, you know, like I give it or take it. But like this shit goes fucking deep, bro. It goes really deep. So I think that's about time, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Definitely check out the other episodes. I did cover, I covered all of the Hannah Gutierrez's trial, and I covered all of Alec Baldwin's trial. So if you want to go back, watch that. There's a few hours of coverage there. I got nothing else to say, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get out of here. So thank you so much again. Do all the YouTube shit, like, comment, subscribe, do all that. I love you. Stay safe out there. Drink plenty of water, and don't talk to strangers, and double knot your laces. You know what I mean? Double knotting ain't that bad. You know, it sometimes it looks goofy, but double knotting laces is you know, it's an underrated thing. So double knot your laces. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.